Yo, Counter Attack podcast for myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. Happy New Year! So yes, this is my first video of the year. Are you lot ready for... Listen, I feel so like, for the first time in ages, I feel... No, it's not the first time, because I think towards the back end of last year, I kind of got the flame in me again. But I'm just so like ready for the new year. I'm ready to give you guys the content. I'm ready to give you guys like the players, the interviews, the insight. I'm also going to be doing a lot more in regards to showing what I actually do outside of this podcast. So I don't know your name, but it's the person that's always complaining about my audio and saying, he said something to me the other day. So, I mean, he said something on my last video saying, I've been around for ages and everyone always talks about me. And I'm just like, maybe he thinks that, and it's no slight on you because it's my fault, but I'm like, maybe he thinks that the only thing I've got going for myself is this podcast. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, it's my bread and butter, but those who follow me on Instagram and everything would know that I do stuff with the MLS, hence why you see these MLS podcasts coming out. I do stuff with Sky. I do stuff with ESPN. So like there's a lot that goes on, but I don't blame you guys for not knowing because I don't actually document all that sort of stuff. But this year we will be documenting a lot more of it. I'm going to start putting out more and more stuff. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you that. I've got a player interview coming out. More MLS stuff coming out this year. I will be in America a lot more. Well, like I was last year doing all the American stuff. So it's funny because all the MLS stuff I did last year, I didn't even put that on my channel, which is crazy. Like I need to be putting that on my channel, but I'm going to be putting all that on my channel. So when the MLS season starts up again, I will be out there. But yeah, guys, I'm just going to put a video for the first one of the year. And I don't even know where to start. The festive period, I think I've spoken about that already in my last one. Arsenal's festive period was just awful, absolutely awful. But what I do want to talk about is I'm from a time where, you know, it's not even the time, it's not even about being from the time that I'm from. But what normally happens with players is that every player that comes through is going to go through times where their form's off. And I'm speaking to Martinelli and Saka. There was always going to come a time where their form was going to be off. Right now, Martinelli's form is not great at all. Saka's form is not the best. I think it's unfortunate for Arsenal that both is happening at the same time. But I have no doubt that both players will come through it. But I just don't like the narrative that, you know, I've seen. And it'd be our own fans. Let's keep it real. I don't like the narrative that I'm seeing that, you know, people like Martinelli is absolutely finished and they're absolutely awful just because they're off form. And yes, you don't want them to sit in that form and you don't want them to stay in a state where they're not doing anything. But I think it's in these moments where you should actually support even more and actually have a bit of, you know, reality to your thinking, to your apply critical thinking. Because when you're seeing players coming through at 17, 18 years old and they're now 21, 22, and they haven't really had dips in form, when you see them going through their bad form, rather than, you know, saying that they're finished and whatever, just say, look, it's bad form. I mean, it doesn't help the fact that Arsenal are losing currently, so it's hard to look at it just like that. But it's not every day just write off a player and be like, yeah, you know, we need to get rid of them. We need to upgrade on them. You know, we need to see the back of them, because it just doesn't work like that. If you can name me one player outside of Messi, maybe, name me one player that has gone through their entire career and never had a drop in form. Go on, if you can name me one, then I'll shake your hand, because I can't name any. So right now, Saka and Martinelli are going through it. Like I said, it's annoying that they're both going through it at the same time, but this was always going to happen. Two young players who have come through, well, I say come through the Arsenal Academy. Obviously, Martinelli wasn't through the academy, but, you know, two young players who have come through into the first team, who have hit heights that a lot of people never saw them hitting. You know, it was always going to happen. But I'm not worried by it. I'm not worried by Arsenal's form, if I'm being totally honest. I think But this is where I might be deluded because I look at how Arsenal are performing and just see it as just it's just a dip. We're just really playing poorly right now, and I don't see it as the end of our season like I've been seeing. I think that we're only at Christmas. If there's anything that we know, especially from last season, is that at this point of the season, it's way too early. Liverpool can go and drop points next week, and then suddenly Arsenal are only 2 points behind again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, things can change. Things can change, and I'm not too concerned about it. I'm also seeing the same about Declan Rice. I think that Declan Rice has been Arsenal's best player this season, probably one of the players of the season so far. Blatantly top three. Yeah, Declan Rice has been top three players in the Premier League so far this season. But Arsenal lose a couple games and suddenly you got people questioning him, and I find that crazy. I find it mad. I think there are weaknesses to his game, and they're not even just weaknesses. I just think that there's players, especially when there's players in the team that can do certain things better than him. So we talk about him passing through the lines. Like, we don't see him do it as much as we should. I definitely think he can, but he doesn't do it as much, and that's something he can add to his game. But I think that, it's okay to have those weaknesses and still be the good player that you are. But now all of a sudden you've got people questioning him when, just 2 weeks ago he was like the best thing since sliced bread. So I just feel like we should have a bit of applied critical thinking. I do think Arsenal need to fix up. I think that Arteta, I'm not here to say Arteta out or whatever, but I think people find it hard to either, be a fan. People find it hard to be a fan of Arteta and critique him as well. I think that, he doesn't help himself with some of the player selection that, with some of the team selections that he's had. I think when you can see players who aren't playing well, so players like Martinelli, don't just drop them to the bench. I think it's also on him to have a plan B for the team. When things aren't going our way, we don't really switch up, and we look a bit disjointed at times. And we were playing free flowing football last year, and this year it's almost like he's substituted the free flowing football for us to be stronger defensively. But now we're still conceding goals, and now we're not scoring goals. So something needs to be done. 100% need a striker. That doesn't mean that I don't want Jesus in the team, because I forgot who it was online. Someone was saying online that people were complaining about Zinchenko, but against Fulham, you could see that he was a miss because of the way we play or the way we want to play. He adds a big part to that. Yes, he's been struggling recently with his defensive. Well, he's never been defensively strong, but he's been struggling recently, and a lot of the time it's our own fans which are causing these lapses in form when they're going at them, and these players hear it, and you could just tell that he's overthinking everything now. Do you get what I'm saying? But let me know what you think about Arsenal. Are they out of the title race? I don't think they are. Should it be a big of a panic as it is? I definitely do think they need to go out and get that striker though. But who do they go and get? Tony, I don't think is going to come. I think it's laughable. It's laughable that people are saying Solanke should be Arsenal's striker, and that's not me talking down on Solanke. That's not me talking down on Solanke at all. I like Solanke. Solanke's a really, really good player. But I think Solanke himself will tell you that he probably needs to do what he's been doing for a longer period before being touted as that guy. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know why anytime a player's hit a bit of form, we have to suddenly link them with big moves. And then when they get those big moves and it doesn't work out for them, it's like, oh, that player's fallen off. No, how about you just give them longer periods of time to prove themselves? Do you get what I'm saying? Because there was a time where people were linking Dominic Calvert-Lewin with Arsenal, which is just because he was on form. But now look what we would have been getting. Madness. What else is on my agenda? Am I actually... Okay, I had to double check that I actually pressed play. Sorry, I had a list here. Right. Nunes, yes. So anyone that watches my podcast knows I'm a big fan of Darwin. Darwin Nunes is a very, very good player. And one thing about him is that he's always going to get chances. I hear it that he's not putting the chances away, but I think for me, and I said it on my podcast with Loon before, that if something can just drop, and you know what, he doesn't even need to be able to put away every chance, but I think where he's young and where he's still improving, he can become a striker that if he puts away, if he just ups his finishing by even 20 to 30%, we will see a totally different striker. We will see a massive problem. And yes, you want him to be finishing chances more as a striker, as your number 9. But I would be more concerned if there was a striker that wasn't getting chances at all and not putting them away. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I think I heard John Barnes saying that if you had a striker that, if he could finish like Robbie Fowler, you know, he'd be a much better player, obviously, but he's not Robbie Fowler. You know, you're asking him to be able to have all the good things to his game that he has, but then also be able to finish like Haaland or finish like, no, that like the player you have is the player you have. And he is going to improve. And I think that if Liverpool were to get rid of him, let's say Núñez ain't Jota. Jota will get one chance and put it in the back of the net. But Jota can't do what Núñez does overall in regards to just being chaotic and just working back for the team and creating as many chances as he does. Because Jota doesn't get as many chances as Núñez. And it's no coincidence that Núñez is always getting in those positions because he's good at it. But what I will say is that Jota is ice cool in front of goal. Núñez can't do that. Núñez ain't Jota. But if you can get Núñez to at least just put one or two chances away, you will see a totally different striker. So if Liverpool were to ever get rid of him now, you know what? I'll take him at Arsenal. I'll take Núñez at Arsenal all day long. So maybe there's a way we can get him. 10 mil? 10 mil for Núñez? That's the sort of striker Arsenal need right now because they ain't getting a top striker in January. No way. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, guys. But yeah, you know what? Let me know what is a reasonable target for me in regards to my subscribers this year. Let me know what's a reasonable. I'm going to say 6,000. I thought I was going to get there by the end of the year, but then I kind of tailed off towards the back end of the year. So 6,000 by the end of this year, which I could and should be able to do by March, but I'm going to give myself by the end of the year. But yeah, Jadon Sancho, man. It looks like he's heading back to Dortmund. I feel bad for him because I truly believe he's never ever really been given a chance and a run of games. I think that if managers has shown him the faith that they have had in Martial, in Anthony, in who else? Rashford, I think he could have really, kicked on and done some stuff. I really felt like he was going to outlast Ten Hag. Obviously, he's still at the club, Jadon Sancho, and it's not confirmed that he's going to Dortmund. But I honestly think he's going to go Dortmund and he's going to light it up again. He's going to go there, enjoy his football again, without the pressures of England, without a manager that doesn't like him and whatnot. I think there's this narrative going around that Jadon Sancho is just a poor player. I think there's a narrative going around that he just couldn't hack it at United. When I like to look at it from the other point of view, like he never really was given a chance and a crazy run of games. And I think that how we judge him, and yes, the price tag was the price tag and the hype around the move was the hype around the move. But I think how we judge him is very differently to how we judge other players in that team. Because you can't tell me that Jadon Sancho deserved less chances than Martial. You can't tell me that Sancho deserved less chances than Anthony. Do you get what I'm saying? Even Rashford, as much as Rashford has stank out the place, Rashford will always still play. Rashford doesn't get that treatment. So it's unfortunate, but like I said, I think he's going to go light up Dortmund, going to get back to playing and playing well again. But yeah, I think that's it from me. Yeah, that's it from me, guys. Hopefully tomorrow I'm back again with another pod, another episode, another video. Just keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. 2024 is our year. And remember, I'm saying this. So you that likes to complain about my sound, listen, complain all you like because I'm gonna show you this year. And I know that's what you want, but I'm gonna show you this year. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put more of the stuff that I do away from the podcast, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like that comment. I didn't like the comment about, oh, you've been around, you've been on the scene for years, as if to say I'm some any person. Just get me. I just know that my platform is respected. My platform is respected, and I do a lot away from the podcast because of the podcast. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's not your fault. You're not to know that. So I'm going to start documenting a lot more. I'm going to get the players back on. Well, the players have been coming on recently again. And I've literally just finished talking to one. So I've got one who's on their way to AFCON. So they're gonna do it from the from AFCON camp. So that's gonna have to be done via Zoom. But I've got another one. Listen, let me not talk. This is the year of just doing, no talking. And yeah, that's what we're on right now. Counter Attack Podcast. We're out. Peace.